Okay, so this session is the second part of the unit number 4. Okay, so this will be a very short lecture. Okay, the topic is programming concept, which is the part of the unit number 4. Okay, so what is the programming language? Okay, programming language or programming concept, the program can be defined as a set of instructions that need to executed to accomplish a computing task. So basically, these are a set of instruction. Okay, so these are requirement to execute any kind of task or any kind of data to process by the computer. So the programs, that means the set of instructions. Okay, a person who write or perform the program is known as the programmer. So the programmer is the person who can design the set of instruction, which is called the program. So programmer uses some specific languages to write program, which is known as programming languages. For example, the C++, Java, these are the type of programming languages which is basically designed by the programmer. Okay, so the C++, Java, these are examples of programming languages or programming concept which is based on the specific languages. Okay, these languages are called the programming language. So the programming language we can define as it is a set of commands, instructions, and other syntax used to create a software program. So basically, the programming concept is the set of instruction, and the programming language is the part of programming concept, which is basically a set of instruction. But specifically, the programming language is the set of commands, instructions, and the other some kind of syntax which is used to design any type of the software program. प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज मस्ट बी सिंपल, इजी टू लर्न एंड यूज. सो बेसिकली अगर कोई भी प्रोग्राम इजी होगा, सिंपल होगा, तो उसे हम आसानी से सीख सकते हैं. ओके, सो द प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज कैन बी डिवाइडेड इनटू two parts. The first one is the low level language, and the second one is the high level language. Now the low level language, that means the traditional machine languages which are belongs to the low level language, machine level languages. And the second one is the assembly language. So basically assembly language is also belongs to the low level language. But the high level languages are like examples of C, C++, the COBOL, ALGOL, Pascal. So these are the some kind of examples of high level languages. So basically we can divide it into two parts. The first one is the low level. The second one is the high level language. Basically machine language or assembly language, both are belongs to the low level language. And the modern days, a lot of high level languages are used to design the any kind of software programming. Okay, so this low level, what is the low level language and what is the high level language, and type of low level language. So the low level languages, these programming languages are basically more difficult to understand. Okay, for the user or programmer, these low level languages are the difficult to understand. So we can define as these programming languages are more difficult to understand. It is designed to operate and handle the entire instruction set of a computer system directly, which are generally used to write the software, system software. For example, the machine level language and assembly language, these are the most initially used programming languages, which is based on the low level language. But basically the most difficult part is to learning this low level programming languages, because the some kind of instruction set which is used in which is used for the low level languages, which is very difficult to understand or remember this type of set of instructions. Okay, so the problem is how to convert this low level this entire set of instruction for the user or programmer as a simplified version. Okay, so there is the high level language invented, and then all the programmers used the high level language, but the machine is understand the machine level language or assembly language. So there is one need to convert from the high level language into the low level language. Okay, so low level languages are divided into two parts, as I earlier said, the machine level language, and the second is the assembly language. So what is the machine language and what is the assembly language? Basically, machine language is the only language understood by the computers. जो computers समझता है, जो computer directly समझ सकता है, that is the machine language. Okay, sometimes it refers to as a machine code or object code or binary language. So basically binary language, that means it is in the form of 0 and 1, which is understand by the recognized by the machines or CPU. It is collection of binary digits 0 and 1, 0 or 1, or bits, which is called basically bits, that are the program that are the computer reads and interpret. So computer can only read the binary digits or bits. So these binary digits 1 and 0 is the used in the machine language. Now the second is the assembly language. Basically it is low level programming language which is used as an interface with computer hardwares. It uses structured command as substitutions for numbers, allowing humans to read the code easier than looking at binary codes. So the assembly language are easier than the machine level language, but as hard as the machine language to for the programmer. So basically to understand the coding, the assembly language is the easier than the machine language. Okay. So one thing more. Suppose the assembly language are used the load. So if you want to give the instruction of loading to CPU, then you have to use the some kind of set of instruction or some kind of code, like LDA is the code which is basically based on the assembly language. Okay, so this is easier to understand because the machine languages are used only 0 and 1. 1 is the form of bits, but in assembly language there is some kind of set of codes. Okay, so the LDA is the in a kind of code. Okay, so basically it's easy to understand or easy to remember these codes as compared to the machine language or as compared to the binary bits. For example, if you want to give the any kind of instruction which is belongs to the translation, so for any kind of translation instruction, you have to remember the code which is the TRAN. Okay, so this is another code which belongs to the assembly language. And for suppose we have to add any kind of numbers, then we have to use some codes like add. Add is used for the addition. Similarly, sub instruction is used for the subtraction. Okay, so these are the codes which is used in the assembly languages, but these codes are ran by the machines. So that's why we have to convert this LDA, tran, add, sub, these codes we have to convert into the machine language. So that's why we have to use a tool that is called the assembler. Okay, which is which can convert the assembly codes into the machine language. Okay, so these converter is also required to convert the assembly language codes into the machine language binary bits. Okay, the next type of language is the high level language. So it is an advanced computer programming language that is not limited to one computer and easier to understand. ओके ये उन दोनों से easier है प्रोग्रामर के लिए समझने के लिए. The main advantage of high level language over low level language is that they are easier to read, write and understand. Okay, so the most important thing or advantages of the high level language is that it's easier to read, write and understand. Okay, so examples are, the first one is the basic. Basic is the high level programming language. Then C, Fortran, Java, Pascal. These are the examples of high level programming languages. And we can divide it into some other types of the high level language. Like first one will be the scientific programming language. Like the ALGOL belongs to the scientific programming language. Basic is also a high level programming language which is used for the scientific research or scientific programming. Okay, the second next one is the Fortran. This is also a scientific kind of programming language. Pascal is also used for the scientific research. So that's why the Pascal will also belongs to the scientific programming language. The second one is the commercial programming languages. Okay, so the COBOL is a high level programming language which is basically used in the commercial programming. Okay, now the third one will be the special purpose programming language. So the one example of a special purpose programming language is the AP360. This is another kind of high level programming language which is used for the special purpose, belongs to the special purpose programming language. The next one is the multi-purpose. So basically some programming languages or high level programming languages used in the different platforms or different type of programming language. Like basic is specially designed for the scientific programming language, but this is also used for the commercial or some special purpose programming language. So that's why the basic programming language will belongs to the scientific and also multi-purpose programming language. So the next one will be multi-purpose programming language. So the example will be basic. Also Pascal will also used for some other type of field in other fields. So that's why this also belongs to the multi-purpose programming language. So we can categorize into 4 other types of programming language: scientific, commercial, special purpose and multi-purpose programming languages. Okay. Now, as I said that if you have any kind of high level programming language, so these programming languages cannot understand by the computer system or CPU. So that's why we have to use some kind of language translator, which is basically translate from one high level language into the low level language. Okay, so these language translator are some kind of softwares. Like the language transmitter, it is help to converting programming languages to machine language. So basically it convert high level language into the low level or low level machine languages. Okay, language translator is divided into 3 categories, which are as follows. The first one is the assembler, second one is the interpreter, and third one is the compiler. Okay, so basically assembler is used to converting the assembly language into the machine language. Okay, interpreter also used for the high level language into the machine language. And similarly, compiler will also used for the high level language into the machine language. Okay, so the most important thing are these 3 are belongs to the language translator. Basically, assembler used for just converting the assembly language into the machine language, but interpreter and compiler both are used to any kind of high level language into the machine language. But the difference is just like interpreter converting high level language into the machine language by converting line by line. Okay, So the compiler, where is the compiler used for the एक साथ जो है at one time it can be converted all the codes into the machine language. So basically interpreter is the line by line, but the compiler can convert the entire high level program in one time. Okay, so these are the difference between the interpreter and compiler, because basically both are used to high level into the machine language. Okay. So suppose this is the suppose imagine the programmer can write any kind of program in the high level language. Okay, so suppose these are the codes for the high level languages, but the computer cannot understand these codes. So that's why there is a language translator which can convert these codes into the form of the bits, which is the 0 and 1 form. Okay, so it can be readable by the or executed by the CPU or machines. Okay, so these are the language translator, which will be assembler, compiler, or interpreter. So the first one is the assembler. So basically it convert a program written in assembly language into machine language. As I said, the assembler are just used for the converting the programming language from the assembly language into the machine language. Okay, so I have already said some kind of codes like LDA for the loading, sub for the subtraction, add for the addition. So these are the assembly language codes. So it can be converted into machine language, which will be in the form of 0 and 1. That will be the machine language coding. Okay, so the assembler can be converted assembly languages into the machine language. Assembly language consists of mnemonic codes. So basically these LDA, sub, add, these all are called the mnemonic codes. Okay, so these are the mnemonic codes which are difficult to learn and are machine dependent. So basically the most important or the most challenging part is to memorize these all type of the instruction or set of codes, which is basically hard to memorize these codes. So that's why we have to use the high level language, which is basically easy to remember or easy to learn. Okay, now the next type of translator is the interpreter. So interpreter, it convert high level language or high level program into the machine language by converting line by line. So the most important thing, it converting it line by line. Okay, if there is any error in any line, it stops the execution of the program immediately and reports to the user at the same time. So अगर line by line वो convert कर रहा है, तो any point there is any kind of error in any line, then it directly stop the execution of the program. Okay, now the program execution cannot resume until the error is rectified by the user. जब तक आप उसको edit नहीं करोगे, ठीक नहीं करोगे, तब तक की program execution वापस resume नहीं होगा. Okay, this is the slow process and the consume less memory space. So the process is slow, but it consumes the less memory, so it can be run in the any kind of computer CPU. But the process will be the slow because it check the each and every code line by line. So that's why it takes the more time. So it's time consuming, but use the less memory space. Now the last one is the compiler. So it convert high level program into the machine language, high level language program into the machine language, which can be understood by the processor. For each high level language, the machine requires a specific compiler. Compiler converts the entire high level program in one go and reports all the reports of the program along with the line numbers. So we can say that it convert in group or at a time. Okay, it convert the entire high level programs at a time. So कहीं पर भी कोई एरर होगा तो उसके आगे वो उस एरर को छोड़ के चला जाता है. So this is the advantage of the compiler as compared to the interpreter. Now, which type of error decoded by the compiler or interpreter or assembler? So there are some types of error which can be found in the any kind of programming. So the first one is the syntax error. Okay, so basically the syntax error, suppose if you forget the adding any type of in any line, you forget to add the semicolon, or if you use the any type of numeric code, then if there is the spelling or keyword incorrectly, then it will be show the syntax error, or some kind of if you use the any wrong brackets or missing any type of closing bracket, then it shows the syntax error. So basically the syntax error are like if you forget the semicolon, or if you use the incorrect keywords, or missing any kind of brackets, then it shows the syntax error. So basically कोई भी जैसे C++ में ही होता है, तो C++ में आप अगर कहीं पर भी अगर सेमी कॉलम अगर मिस कर दोगे तो आपको किसी भी तरीके से रॉन्ग वो दिखाएगा. अगर आपने कहीं पर इस तरह का कॉमा यूज कर रहे हो और उसको आपने भूल गया, then it shows then it will be shows the syntax error. So basically the syntax error means the if you miss the semicolon in if you put the any incorrect keywords, or if you miss any kind of brackets, then it will shows the syntax error. Now the next type of error is semantic error. So the semantic error are the errors that basically if you use the any kind of code. Okay, for example, अगर आपने कोई भी ऐसा वर्ड या कीवर्ड यूज कर दिया जो कि कंप्यूटर के द्वारा वो अंडरस्टैंड नहीं कर पा रहा है या कंप्यूटर उसको समझ नहीं पा रहा है, then it shows the semantic error. So semantic errors are error that occur when the code written by the programmer make no sense. You can say that there is any kind of code used by the programmer which makes no sense, then the compiler shows the semantic error. So you can write that any code written by user. So any code written by user which make no sense, then it shows the semantic error. Okay, so basically if there is any kind of high level language used by the programmer, and there is no any kind of numeric code which is written by the user, so it will shows the make no sense, and it can shows the semantic error to the user. Now the third type of error, it will be logical error. Okay, so the logical error means logical errors, it can be runtime error, or if you use the illogical algorithms. Okay, if you programmer use illogical or algorithm, सो दैट मीन्स कि अगर कहीं पर भी आपने किसी भी तरह से फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर आपने C++ में कहीं पर कोई इंटीजर रखा, लाइक इंटीजर a is equals to 5 and b is equals to 7, then if you apply any type of condition like a greater than b, okay, so if you apply the condition which is the a greater than b, now a is 5 and b is 7, so there is no sense of logic to A greater than B, so then it will be show the logical error, because there is no logic to A greater than B, because A is the 5 and B is the 7. So this is the some kind of logical error which is shown in the by the compiler basically, or translator. Okay, the last one will be the runtime error. Okay, so this is the another type of error. So it will be the runtime error. Basically, it occurs during the execution of program. So if this error occurs when the program tries to perform an illegal operation. So such as if there is program and the program will have to be divided by the 0. So it will be the runtime error, because we cannot any number divided by the 0. So it can attempt to access the program, but it will be so the runtime error. So the runtime error is the another type of error which can be shown by the translator, or sorry, compiler, or interpreter. Okay, so these are some basic types of error. Now these are the some examples of the high level language and application area. So the most important thing of the syllabus of unit number 4 is these the type of and year which is introduced in which year. So the Fortran is the first language which is introduced in the 1957. So basically the Fortran is the formula translation. Basically Fortran means formula translation. So the developer is the a team of programmers at IBM. IBM के जो programmers हैं उनके द्वारा design किया गया था. And it is used for the calculation. Okay, the application area is the calculation. Okay, the next one is the ALGOL. ALGOL is the algorithm language which is introduced in the 1958. Okay, so the developer are a committee of European and American computer scientists, and it is used for the scientific purpose. Now the next one is the Lisp, which is the list processing, which is again introduced in the 1958. And this is application area for the artificial intelligence. Basically this is for the artificial intelligence. AI के लिए जो है इसको डिजाइन किया गया था. Now this is which is not a popular high level programming language. Basically the Fortran is the popular, ALGOL is also a popular programming language. Similarly, the COBOL is the another popular programming language which is introduced in the 1959. And the full form of COBOL is the Common Business Oriented Language. Okay, the Common Business Oriented Language, which is belongs to the COBOL. Now the Grace Hopper is developer of the COBOL, and it is there is the application area which is business management string oriented. Okay, so COBOL belongs to the commercial type of programming language. Now the next one is the BASIC. The full form of the BASIC programming language, Beginners All Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code. Okay, the full form of BASIC is the Beginners All Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code, introduced in the 1964. And the application area is the programming for educational purpose. So basically BASIC is the some kind of multi-purpose, you can say that the multi-purpose programming high level programming language. Now similarly there is Pascal, introduced in the 1970, then C72, and then C++, which is introduced in the 1985. And the last one is the Java, which is introduced in the 1995. Java is also most popular, or one of the most popular high-level programming language, Java, which is basically used in the internet-oriented programming. So internet protocols वगैरह के लिए जो programming language maximum use किया था, that will be Java. Okay, introduced in the 1995. So these are the some important and famous programming languages: Fortran, ALGOL, COBOL, BASIC, Pascal, C and C++, and Java. There are some other programming language which are basically nowadays very popular in programming sector or programming in the programming languages. So like Python is the nowadays very popular programming language. Similarly, JavaScript and HTML, which is also a popular programming language. So there is a list of some popular programming languages. Another other some popular programming language like Python, Java, JavaScript, HTML, and there is Bash or Shell, TypeScript, PHP, Go, Kotlin, Dart, SQL, Swift, Crystal, PureScript, Rust, Ruby. These all are the modern days programming, high level programming language. So basically क्वेश्चन में MCQs फॉर्म में इनमें से आ सकता है कि बताइए इनमें से कौन सा जो है आपका हाई लेवल प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज है. So we have to memorize these all the programming languages. So basically you have to remember the name of the high level programming languages, which is basically popular in modern time programming. Okay, so the Python introduced in the 1991, Java, as I said, 1995. Similarly, JavaScript also introduced in the 1995. HTML is introduced in the 1993. So the HTML stands for the hypertext markup language. So basically, remember the full form of the HTML, which is hypertext markup language. It is the standard programming language for documents designed for web browser display. So basically, HTML used for the document design. Okay. CSS or cascading style sheets is a rule-based language. Okay, Java are used like companies working on Java are Amazon, Adobe, Flipkart, Instagram. These all famous brands are used the Java programming language. Okay, so it's owned by the Oracle Corporation. Java is probably the most well known for the mobile or in-game console games. ओके, गेम्स वगैरह में जावा के लिए और जो सोशल नेटवर्किंग साइट्स वगैरह है वहां पे जावा प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज यूज किया जाता है. ओके, नाउ द पाइथन प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज यूज्ड बाय द यूट्यूब, कोरा, पिंटरेस्ट एंड इंस्टाग्राम आल्सो. ओके, so the Python is also a kind of scientific programming language. Okay. So I hope you will all understand all the type of and kind of and the name of programming language. We have to remember these all programming language for the exam point of view. Okay, so that's it. Okay, in next class we will discuss about the unit number 5. So basically we can skip the unit number 5 because I have already explained the type of operating systems. Like in last class I am discussing about the multi-programming, multitasking, multi-processing operating system, time-sharing operating system, DOS, Windows, Unix. So basically, and I have earlier said about the assembler, compiler, interpreter. So these are the subtopics of the unit number 5. So we can directly jump into the unit number 6, which is the data communication. So in next class, we are going to discuss about the unit number 6 directly, data communication, which is based on the networking or types of network, LAN, WAN, MAN, this type of topics in this unit number 6. Okay. So there is remaining 3 units, unit number 6, 7, and 8. So maybe in next week, the syllabus will be completed. Okay, so thank you. That's it for today.
To watch the complete video, download Mining Gyan 2.0 app from the Play Store and enjoy seamless learning with Mining Gyan 2.0.